Hi, this is Landon, and I'm here with my dog Kiki, who's probably going to be out of frame most of the time. I have Kiki here, and because this is going to be a video with some strong language and some strong content, it's definitely not for kids, because I'm going to be talking about the issue of child abuse. In the articles that I wrote that were critical of a recent column by Joe Ashline, the thing that I think people had the most difficulty with, and very understandably so, is the fact that I said that her use of the picture of the son was, I believe I said it was despicable and cruel, and definitely said that it made me concerned about abuse. And I will stand by, certainly, that description and that concern. Why would I say that that was despicable? Well, because what the picture was there for was to justify her reaction in the column. It was there. It was not there for him. It was not there to tell people about him or to make people feel sympathetic towards him. My interpretation, and I think it's certainly a legitimate one, is that it was there to encourage the reader to feel pity for her. To say that this is the version of autism that she has to deal with, and that should make them feel sorry for her. And frankly, any educational professional will tell you, any child psychologist will tell you, that one of the greatest indicators of a parent who is not safe for their kids to be around is using the child to generate sympathy and pity for oneself. It's a big indicator. Certainly it's something you should be aware of. You don't want to do that unless you don't know that you won't be accused of abuse in the future, or that somebody won't make a claim of psychological abuse. You don't know for sure that your spouse will never sue for custody. You really don't want to do anything that is going to make a professional like me say that's a concern. And whenever I choose to write something like the columns that I wrote about, I'm not writing for Joe. If I were writing for Joe, I would send Joe an email. I'm writing for a general audience, and it is very important to me that people be careful with the way that they use images of their kids online. I'll give you another example. There was a story that ran on the MSNBC website, and the headline was "Twins with Autism, Parents Ask, Did It Have to Happen?" And then it had actually a picture of the kids that it was talking about, and I was horrified by that. And I was actually a little more horrified when the mother of the kids wrote me to complain about me complaining about the article, rather than writing as I would to MSNBC and demanding that they take down that picture of my kids and that they change the headline, or I would threaten legal action. Because you don't put a picture of your kids up with the suggestion that they are something terrible that didn't have to happen. It's mean. It's, in my own words, despicable and cruel. And even somebody high-functioning with autism like myself, I need my partner to help me navigate socially difficult situations where the cues are mixed and difficult. And certainly as a teenager, that's a place where I think parents have an obligation to be especially careful if you're putting your kids in the national media. And that was the other thing, about Joe's use of her son's picture that really concerned me was, if it had been just on her website, I would not have mentioned it. Because that's her space. She can do whatever she wants to. But to put that forward onto the website of the Orange County Register, that was one of the things I did discuss with the editor when I talked with her that was, I'm very disappointed with them making the decision to run a picture of an autistic kid with a runny nose and crying and the caption, "This is what autism looks like at my house." I think I don't think that's an okay way to treat children, and that's not based on personal whim. It's based on years and years of professional experience. I believe very strongly that it's incredibly easy to intimidate autistic children and even autistic adults to the point where it is impossible for them to try. I actually think that for many kids, this is the greatest barrier that they face. I think we must be very careful when we are working with children and adults who have autism, that we never send them the message that we do not want them, that they are, because of who they are, less than other people. One of the things, unfortunately, that you learn if you spend 20 years in the classroom, especially if you work in a variety of situations, so you see the middle class, you see the very wealthy, you see the very poor, as I have, is that not all parents are good parents. That not only is child abuse, particularly of the disabled, I think probably particularly of the autistic, a very real thing. It is a common thing. I think because autistic people tend to have communicative difficulties and unusual behavior, we are more likely to be abused. And certainly my experience of people I've worked with and friends that I have indicates to me that abuse is very common of autistic kids. And so I think one of the things that socially parents do, that I think is a really good idea socially, is simply make the assumption that everyone is a good parent. And I do understand that impulse, and in some ways I think it's correct. But not everyone is a good parent. I wish, one of the things that I really wish the parent community of kids with autism would be stronger about is policing each other for signs of abuse. It breaks my heart when you read about a kid who's been roped up in the backyard and people are claiming that it's a crime, that they were taken away further from their loving parents. It makes me sick when someone says that we cannot judge someone who murdered their autistic child, or that we cannot say that they were a bad parent. Now, I also think it's very possible to be both a bad parent and a good person. I've personally known many people who I admired on a level, on a professional level. Unfortunately, I've known many educators who I thought were really great with the kids that they taught and really observably making bad choices as parents themselves. This is actually not at all uncommon. So I think you can say if somebody kills their kid or has them roped up in the backyard, they're a bad parent. That doesn't mean they're a bad person. or that they should go to hell or to go to jail. But this whole, we can't, judging parents is the worst thing. No. No. Killing kids is the worst thing. Physically harming kids is the second worst thing. Psychologically damaging kids by sending them the message that they are garbage throughout their entire life is the third worst thing. I will never stop saying that. You know, it's not pointless drama to say, wow, this is not a safe attitude to display towards your own child.